And hello, 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 and welcome to the Be Real, Get Real podcast. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, and this podcast is brought to you by Women's Prosperity Network. And we want to share real stories of real women doing real things in the world. We are a community of impact-focused women making a difference in our own lives, in the lives of the people that we care about, in our communities, and the world at large. And today I have the privilege of introducing you to Lara Jaye, who has been with us going on 2 years now, right? Haven't you been a part of our community?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's about 2 years. And from the moment we met, there was an energetic connection. What a surprise.
In the elevator.
Yes, I remember at some hotel when we used to do events in hotels. Oh, remember that? I get all nostalgic. Anyway, and today's conversation with Lara Jaye is about finding clarity in an invisible world of energy. And today she's going to be sharing how she found profound clarity while she sheds light on the secrets our energy fields hold, as well as the influence that they have in our spaces. And I'm real curious about that. Before we dive in, let me share a little bit about her background. Leaders around the globe seek Lara Jaye for a unique strategic edge to keep up with their fast-paced life. By combining energy healing and utilizing an ancient yet sacred healing method that speaks directly to your soul, which is called light language, Lara provides a profound shift to a life of flow, beingness, instead of doingness, I love that, or busyness, beingness, clarity, and power. For the past decade, Lara has dedicated her life to studying, understanding, and communicating with the unseen. It's a gift she's had since birth, yet she also suppressed it for years. Lara is an intuitive speaker, an international best-selling author, and a podcast host. She is a Butler University graduate from Indianapolis, Indiana, coaching certified, a Reiki master and teacher. She loves living by the ocean, watching the Gulf sunsets, and spending time with her family. Welcome, Lara Jaye.
Good morning, Nancy.
Yeah, so, I want to dive in first. You said that this is a gift, this understanding and communicating with the unseen. It's a gift you've had since childhood, yet you kept suppressed. So let's talk about that a little bit first, because I know I had a similar experience, and I think lots of people watching are like closet spiritual people. So let's bring it out of the closet.
Okay, right off, we're going to bring it out of the closet. Yes, so I have had this gift from birth, which many of us do here right now on the planet. Many of us have these incredible gifts, and I believe everyone is intuitive. And it's just, how far do we want to open up to it? So I've had, and I, about 10 years ago, got very sick and then started to meditate and write as a way to heal, and peeling back the layers and the gift showed up again. It was there all along. I just, was scared of it. You shove it down. I didn't want to be woo-woo. I was, very prominent in the community. Like, this was weird. This was, not this Midwestern Christian girl, something that we talk about. And then when I got so sick, it really helped me, and I could not keep it silent anymore. And I think that many of us are at that point in our lives where we see there's more to us. We see that there's more than this physical body, and don't know where to go or how to explore it.
Yeah. And so thank you for speaking up, for sharing, and for creating the space for others to say, what are my spiritual gifts? Like, intuition is, you get a little hunch about something, like, I think I should do this. And yeah, we all want to get the winning lotto numbers, but that's not exactly how it works, right?
Right.
But we get these little messages that come from spirit, universe, God, intuit, that for me, it's all God. I call it all God. And through meditation is how I'm able to hear things more clearly. And like you said a moment ago, let's address this getting scared of hearing things, because for years they were like, oh, you're hearing voices, that's not a good thing. But if you're hearing the voice of God, that's pretty cool.
It is really cool. And for years, we're taught you just need to pray, you need to pray, you need to pray. Well, prayer for me is when I'm doing all the talking, but when do I actually shut up and listen to what God's trying to say to me? And that's meditation. And so I had to bring in that piece in order to actually open and hear what my next step were, what the instructions were, and then learn to trust it. That's a whole nother piece.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And not let the mind say, oh, don't do that, because we can logic ourselves
Yes.
out of just about anything. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about this journey of expansion you had. You wrote a book, you shifted careers completely. So what was that transition like for you?
It was not easy. I'm going to be real honest. I was very sick. I was depressed. My hair was falling out in clumps. Most of the days I was just sitting on the couch staring. People think, opening spiritually is just, la yoga and meditation. No. It's, it's a lot of tears because you're releasing a lot. For me, I started writing, like I said, as a way to heal, and meditating. And then really started to tune into myself. I was so disconnected from my own body, from myself. I was going through a divorce after 25 years, becoming an empty nester, sold my marketing company, and was getting sicker by the day, and knew that there was or at least I felt inside of me there was a better way. I didn't know how to get there, but I knew that when I started to meditate and write, that every day I would feel better, and I would build on that. And God, just took it one day at a time, one step at a time, and uncovered it from there. But when you're in it, and when I wrote my first book, I was still very sick and trying to figure it out, but I knew that I could hear answers, and I could hear God, and I could sense things and begin to see things, and I was feeling better and better every day. So I just started writing things down. Everything that I got, I just started writing it down, and that's how the books came out. But it was definitely a journey. I'm still on it every day. I do this work, and there's still stuff to clear every day. There's still stuff to look at within myself, and it's great. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to, yes, I'm on the other side, and yes, I'm feeling better. But it's still a journey. It's not a destination. It's still a journey.
Right. It's all a journey. What are the types of things that you work with, high level executives? I know you've worked with a few actors and actresses and people in film. What type of services do you provide for them that, they come clamoring for you? I know that, which is why I'm like, oh, she's coming on my show. Yay.
People call me and they're like, I don't know. I'm stuck. I don't know my next step. A lot of them have an insatiable desire to grow spiritually, and they don't know who to trust or where to go. There's a lot of people out there, and sometimes you resonate with them and sometimes you don't. And sometimes people might, you work with different healers or different people, and it might move the needle a hair, but you want more. And so working with me, we go really deep. And if they're ready for it, we do it. So lots of coaching, sometimes just an individual session where I do the clearing of the energy. A lot of people want to learn how to do it. I attune people to light language. Light language is very unique. I actually now know of maybe 10 people in the world who do it. There's more and more opening up to it every day. And as I attune people, even my coaching clients to it, then they open up to it, and it's amazing.
So should we talk a little bit more about light language and what that is? We've alluded to it a few times.
You've alluded to it.
And you say it's the language of the soul. So can you describe it a little bit for us?
I can. For me, it is, so when started channeling it, I would close my eyes and I would see angels. So when I first started, I called it, for years, I called it angel speak. I didn't know, I felt like the angels are God's voice, and then they would speak through me. And and I would be able to speak this language. And it's actually a combination of over 60 languages. And it, for me, it is what clears the stuck energy in my body and whoever's around it. It's what I use for myself, for others, when I'm clearing homes, when I'm clearing land, that kind of thing. It is, I pray and ask the angels to give me whatever it is that I need to clear the space or clear the person, and then they take care of it. I don't have to know what the words are, what the words mean. I trust them to give me or give them exactly what we all need.
Beautiful. You talked a couple times about clearing space.
Mm-hmm.
So what just came to mind around this as you're clearing space, because everything is energy. Energy never goes away. It just moves and shifts forms and things like that. And sometimes I know that for me, I've walked into a house, an office, a movie. I've walked into spaces and just got this icky feeling, but there was no logic to it. So let's talk about what that type of thing could be.
Yes. And we all have walked into rooms and just kind of felt, maybe taken a breath, felt this heavy energy, or, I always say our spidey senses know, whether we want to admit that we have them or not, we do. We all have spidey senses. We all can feel when you walk into a room and let's say somebody's just had an argument, we know it, right? We feel it. Let's say there's an argument, there's heavy energy. Now, what happens is the walls, actually, the furniture, actually absorbs that energy. So
Like, let me give an analogy here, because this is not woo-woo, this is science, because energy. So let's say I am cooking cabbage. Right? So cabbage has a very strong odor to it. Now, an odor, you don't see it, but if I cooked cabbage right next to my couch, and the steam and the smell would get in my couch, we're talking about the same type of energy absorption and transference, right?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And so our walls hold that, homes. We wonder why, if you look at certain strip malls, business after business goes in the same place and it never succeeds. And we wonder, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Well, it's generally may not even be the walls there. It might be the land. So then the land holds energy. And many of us live in very ancient sacred areas. There's a lot of death and destruction on land. And here we've covered it up with a high rise. However, it's still there. They're still buried deep in the land, and that affects us. That affects each and every one of us. It affects the businesses that we sit on, all of it.
Wow. So part of the work you do is to, get guidance from the angels, from God, to clear out that energy, to open up the space. Can you share a story of someone you did this with and the transformation that occurred?
I can. Let me do a couple. One is a business, a local spa here in Sarasota. I cleared their space, and in 6 months, they made an extra $70,000. People before were not going in. Their land was very affected. It was almost like they were invisible in town. And then all of a sudden, when I cleared it, more and more people had a desire to go. So that was an example of a business for
And
people.
let me point out, that's over $10,000 a month.
Exactly. And that was just, we were looking in 6 or 7 months,
Wow. Okay.
an extra, and they had been around for 15 years, but knew that there were issues. They were seeing shadows in their business. They knew that there was something unseen that was affecting their business. And so that was fascinating. So that wasn't a business example. And then a personal example is, I have a lot of clients who come to me for health issues. So, and one gal was able to completely get off her Xanax that she had been on, and for anxiety, and she had gone through breast cancer and things like that. So there are other people who have, we clear the energy in their field. We're all these energy bubbles. We go out about 6 feet walking around, if you can imagine. We're all these bubbles, and we hold energy. Sometimes we just kind of feel heavy or stuck. Sometimes we feel like we're walking through mud. That's stuck in our field. That's stuck in our little bubble. And so my job is to clear that away. And then as you go home, hopefully your space is cleared too. And if not, we clear your space as well.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool stuff. So our conversations often go very quickly on these podcasts. And
Way too fast.
I know. And I'm sure our listeners are going to want to get in touch with you. So we'll provide a link for you here, but go ahead and share with them, Laura, how they can get in touch with you, find out more, and potentially work with you.
Of course. LaraJaye.com, LARAJAYE.com. We'll love to hear from them.
Nice and easy. Love it. And of course, you can connect with her on social media as well. So thank you for being real, being with us today. I appreciate you, my friend. All you're doing to bring more light and love to the world and clearing energy all around. And for all of our listeners out there, thank you for joining us and tuning in. Be sure to join us for the next episode in the Be Real, Get Real podcast. And until then, get out there and be the one. Be the one who makes a difference in someone else's life today. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye, Laura.
Bye. Thanks.